Everybody, it's Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and today I'm going to show you how you can paint this surprisingly easy abstract floral. This is going to be a lot of fun today. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hello.
He's going to help me bring you this class by making sure that when I'm demonstrating a technique or explaining a product or showing you a tool, you can really see it, that the camera's zoomed in on it, and you're able to see all the actions so you can follow along and paint with me at home. Now, this is a very simplistic one, but if you check the description down below, there is a traceable. So if you don't, I'm going to freehand this in step by step with you guys, but if you don't want to do that, if that doesn't seem fun to you, then you will have the traceable to transfer the lines on the canvas and you don't have to worry about it. Now, this technique is not just fun for this Acrylic August, the 31-day painting challenge that you just discovered, that you just found, where we meet every single day painting something new. But I think this is like one of those great ones just to have as a beginning technique for so many other beginning techniques. And we'll talk about that more at the end for sure. Now, there's nothing for you guys to do but get your paint, get your brushes, come back and meet Diesel right now. I'm going to show you for real how you can paint this. Let's go over the materials for today's show. So I have an 8x8 stretch canvas. This particular canvas is the Classic Cotton by Art Alternatives. You could use whatever you have. That's just what I'm using today. I've got the colors Mars Black, Phthalo Green, Cad Red Medium, Cad Yellow Medium, Titanium White. And right here, this sort of milky plop is Satin Glazing Liquid. You can do this one with just water today if you don't have the Satin Glazing Liquid, so that won't mess you up too much. You feel like you can throw me up a step one, babe? Step one is gonna be fun. All right, now, this would be when you use the traceable if you don't feel like freehand drawing. I'm gonna go through the freehand drawing process. You just choose what's right for you. If you're looking for the traceable, you check that description below. There'll be a link to the website, and you can just download that and transfer that onto the canvas. If you've never done that before, I have a video on how to do that. I'm going to get a brush wet. I'm going to get my number 6 Raphael Sepia round. It's just a nice sharp round, kind of wet with my water, and I'm going to thin out a little black paint. And I do that by bringing a drop of water over to my heavy body black paint and kind of swirling it around, kind of incorporating it, just so that I have nice flow. And you'll notice that I roll my brush and I'm going to come here. Now, if this is the center, I'm going to come up and a little over right from the center. And I'm going to make a little swirling brush stroke. It's like an S stroke. Put a little line at the base of that. Another little swirling stroke there. These are sort of little curved strokes. I like to do some tall and some light, and that's all we're going to do there in that middle. Once we have the middle, I'm going to come over kind of flowing out from this and over towards the right, up off the canvas. So this whole one is about marks and the weight of line and marks, and then color is a secondary concept.
Okay, I get it.
So that's sort of what I like about that. I'm going to come around this side, out on this outside edge, kind of flowing up. I'm going to come up to a point, and then back that way. That's going to give me a petal. Once I have this sort of petal, I can kind of make some little tiny lines here. Little lines. They're not strong lines. They just kind of give some form and some shape. Now off here at the base, I'm going to come down. Load up better. Line, bring it in. Notice that I let the line be thick and thin places. Bringing little kind of shading marks out there. A little interesting line here. Maybe some there. A little bit here in the corner. So I'm just adding interest in the marks. That's all I'm trying to do. A couple of lines going off this way. And then perhaps some heading out that way. Now I'm going to join up those little ones there. I'm going to bring out some little lines here. Little marks. So we've got that upper flower. Very kind of constructed abstract. Now I want to come down from my top flower about an inch. Make a little mark. I might need to get a little bit of water over here if I run out of black paint, and go ahead and roll it. Little wandering lines. Just a little bit down here. Just bringing in that right there. So then I'm going to come off here. So I'm going to bring a little line out from here, heading over towards the left, bending down on the toe of the brush, wiggling up, bring a little line back. And blend down into here. Let's load up some more black paint. Add some dark shading right there. Like that's some heavy weight. It's heavyweight. Heavy. Bring a little petal over there. Bring a little angle over. Now I'm going to come down, kind of coming off of this little opening. Make a leaf shape. I'll come right here, coming out from the outside. Make a leaf shape. Leaf shape. Little lines going off, little energetic lines. Sometimes you just need some lines. Maybe like another little leaf shape coming off here. All right, now I'm going to want this to be thoroughly dry for anything else to work after. So let's dry this thoroughly. When we come back, I'm going to show you what you do next. So I'm going to take an angle brush. This is a 3/4 inch angle brush, and I'm going to get clean water. And I'm going to brush some clean water on my canvas. Right over my leaves, but around my flowers. So it's like I'm painting with invisible paint. And I want it to be like not dripping, but obviously wet. Bring that down just a little bit. Now I'm going to come here and take just a little bit of my white over to my green. I'm going to get a lot of water on here. And I'm going to start to very carefully paint out into this very wet application. Maybe get a little more green on here. I'll go ahead and get a little yellow. So letting it like run everywhere that's going to run. Just making little marks. I'm going to rinse out my brush really, really well. Now on mine it's going to drip down a little bit, and that's because my surface is at an angle. I'm going to put this brush to the side.
Just a little angle, yeah.
Yeah, let's call this a step, but we're not going to dry it because we're going to come over here and this could be just continuing to dissolve and everything. Now for step 3, I'm going to take a little bit of my green and a smidge of my red. Just going to make a dark, dark green. And I'm going to come inside here. And paint the inside with this dark green. Check that out. So you can be very precious with it, or if you want to get your glazing liquid involved, check that out. Gives you a very nice sort of see-through coloring. And come here and take a little bit of my dark green. Come inside my leaf. It's still wet. I haven't really dried it yet. A little bit of my red into my green. I'm going to come in, make a little couple marks, and press the brush down and pull up. Couple little marks, press the brush down and pull up. And it's kind of going into that wet. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it causes this to diffuse a little bit, but give that sense of like maybe some leaves in the out of focus distance. And this is working because I'm using a very dark green against my light greens that I already started. Now, to do the next part, I really, 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 really am going to want it dry. So, because I don't want this to run any more than it is, I'm going to hold my dryer way up high. If you don't want it to run, you could use a diffuser or something to soften the air. I'm going to dry this. When we come back, I'm going to show you what we do next. So for this next part, I'm going to go back into the 3/4 inch angle, and I'm going to use my glazing liquid. If you don't have glazing liquid, you just want to use thinned colors. So you would add more water to your yellow and paint it out thinner, kind of like we did over here where we thin the paint with water. Now when we do these techniques where we thin this much with water, you want to give the surface extra time to cure or adhere to the surface. So it takes it a little longer to be fully bound, and that's just something to know about the paint. I'm going to go ahead and get my brush with some clean water. I'm going to pull out some yellow. Get a little glazing liquid in that. And I'm going to come here and just brush up. Coming back in. Little yellow. Little glazing liquid, little yellow. Now I might want to get a little of my red into my yellow, making kind of an orange. That's a nice orange, isn't it? Get my glazing liquid involved. Get a little red. Red's pretty pigmented, so you'll need to thin it out a bit.
This is a really neat.
It's just another neat way Just painting kind of inside those lines. I'm going to come here from the outside and go up a little bit. And then blend here and blend there. So just kind of creating some dynamic interest. More red. A little extra red there in the flower. All right. That looks really good. Let's give this a dry and then we'll do the next flower. Same brush, three-quarter inch angle. I'm going to go ahead and get into my red with my glazing liquid. I'm going to come underneath here. Grab a little bit of my orange. Kind of blend that in that center. I'm going to wipe off my brush. I'll go ahead and grab some yellow, my glazing liquid. I'm going to glaze the rest of this with my yellow. Now I can softly, like if I have too much paint, it's covering up my black lines, I can softly remove it. I'll wipe my brush off. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of, can you see how I'm coming here and kind of cleaning up around the black paint?
Yeah.
I'll wipe off with my towel. Then I'll go ahead and feather it in. So even on something like this, you actually have quite a lot of control with which to play. Just one of those kinds of art days, John.
Yeah, I think I really like this one.
It's one of those fun, chill little art days. Now I'm going to take a small detail brush. Go ahead and load. Come in the center. And this is one where I can sign in black because this will actually go with the black lines in the painting really well. If you lose any of your black lines, you can just paint over them again with your brush. So even if it gets away from you on this one, it's pretty easy to go back by. And I've gotten 2 or 3 projects in this type of style or technique. So if you thought this was just super fun, besides the 30 paintings that we're doing here in August, there's other paintings, both which are acrylic April ones that match this series of techniques.
Yep.
So you might want to check those out as well. You might enjoy them very, very much.
Yeah.
Okay, when we come back, I'm going to tell you what you do next. So we kind of logged in another fun day with these flowers. I want us to have a fun floral day that we can feel a little bit light about so we can make our goal of getting together every day and painting, but we don't have to feel overwhelmed every single day. And there's so many fun techniques of things that are whimsical and charming that we can do immediately to stay in our painting practice. That's sort of what today is about.
And I really like this technique. I think this is really pretty. It makes for wonderful florals. And, you know, I can just imagine a grid of these, like 3x3 grid of this style painting would look really pretty on a wall.
And this line work with the squeegee technique is also a really gorgeous one because you can squeegee it where the black lines show through and then the paint goes down. So there's a lot that you can do with this. This is just level 1.
Just an introductory.
This can get more fun. We didn't even get hot glue involved where we did it in hot glue and made it like 3-dimensional. So just trust me, they're levels upon levels. And this is what the 31-day painting challenge is about building up those techniques and that inner conversation that you're having with yourself about art. Because that's what you're doing, is you're having a conversation with yourself about art. And it is a real conversation. Like sometimes I know you guys are like, well, I'm not really an artist yet. Trust me, if you're doing a 30-day painting challenge, you are so an artist.
Right, yeah.
That's a deep dive artists get into for sure. You're only even attracted to this type of challenge unless, you know, if your soul is totally artistic. So know that this makes you totally an artist, and this is an artistic conversation that you're having with yourself, and your voice artistically is very, very valid. So try to pay attention to those things as we go through this challenge. Now we're going to be meeting up again tomorrow.
tomorrow
for another awesome painting. So be sure you hit that subscribe button, and you want to sign up for our text notifications, and make sure you're up on our newsletter. Go by the website, theartsherpa.com. That was where you got that traceable if you didn't feel like freehanding this flower with me. And also, come check out the full maybe you just found it because you were just like, I just like these flowers, and it kind of went in my beach house, and I just thought I would do this for myself.
Yeah.
And you just found out that this was a 30-day painting challenge. Check it out because it's really awesome. Going from August 1st this year to August 31st, we are meeting every single day to do a daily painting. So it's 31 paintings this year. Normally I do this in April. Now, if you think these challenges are cool and this is fun, by the way, I have books I've written for previous year's challenges that you can find on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So, we try to publish books of these after the fact if we can. And so there's other books that match other previous years if you think this challenge is super fun.
Yep.
If you liked any of the materials you saw here in today's show, I've got those available for sale on my art store.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if you want to support really cool art challenges like this, don't forget to check out my Patreon. On my Patreon, we do lots of cool things. We have unique projects that are just for the patrons. We do Zoom get-togethers. You can get art critiques. There's just so much there. Discount on the art store. Go by Patreon and check that out if you want to. That would be really cool. Well, there's nothing for you to do but congratulate yourself. And I want you to be good to yourself, be good to each other. And I will see you at an easel real soon. Bye-bye.